It's been a secret and a private love affair of mine.
I see.
For many, many years.
So you mean you've been cheating on their oud with the Sandalwood?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Now all of our viewers know.
Now, and I don't consider it cheating.
Okay.
I think, like naturally in the world of aromatics, I think polygamy is legitimate.
Okay.
I think...
so you can have many loves then?
You can have many.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
This is naturally a polygamous existence. And let's start with some New Caledonian sandalwood. Just so, because these are, personally, like people, and even like, esteemed critics of fragrance, they will say that Mysore sandalwood is the best, and it is. It is legendary, right? And so this person used an inferior grade because he used Australian, or he used New Caledonian, or he used Vanuatu, or Tongan, or Papuan, or anything. There's so many. Tanzania, there's even African sandalwood, which is a totally different genus. There's not just different species, but it's Osiris, right? So it's not Santalum, it's Osiris. Totally different tree. So I don't agree with that, with what they say in that Mysore is it. Why? Because it's like saying, it's like apples are it. Like the pears, peaches, these are not fruits anymore. It's like, to me, that's absurd.
Well, also, you have to, we talked about this before, but every person has a different experience with...
but it seems that most people, they say that Mysore is the best sandalwood.
Okay. You mean, just not experts, but you're saying that...
Even experts, even, whoever, like they say, critics... experts or whoever they are, like users, laymen, like parfumistas and perfumers. There's consensus on this.
I see.
Mysore sandalwood is the best sandalwood.
And how is it? It's readily available still?
It's not readily available, but to me that's absurd.
Yeah.
It just makes no sense.
Okay.
Just think of it, like you have different trees, right? Yeah. One grows in New Caledonia, the other one grows in India. Right? One grows in Australia, the other one grows in Africa. How can you say that this tree, forget what it smells like, right? Forget the history, the nostalgia, the fact that it's so rare and all these things, right? In itself, philosophically, let's go back to like deconstruction here for a second. Like the mind applies values to the words, right? We say Mysore sandalwood, but in itself, someone like Hegel, or actually let's go to the existentialists like Heidegger, or someone like Jasper. He would say this is Dasein. This is like there is, like the being there. It's like it just exists there. How can you say that this is better, the being there, than the being there over there? It's like to me that makes sense.
I agree with that.
It's like saying watermelons are better than cantaloupes. We'll tell it to the Japanese who pay $500 for one prized, cantaloupe, sometimes thousands of dollars for one cantaloupe. So what I'm saying is everything is contextual.
Of course, but some people put a value on it, according to, like you said, about the legend of it.
The uses in perfumery. The uses in perfumery, I have to tell you, I don't agree with that at all. You know why? Because it's like saying, Jasmine Sambac is better than Jasmine grandiflora. And we are going to cover jasmines, in an upcoming episode. Yeah. And to me, they just smell totally different. And how can you say this is better than... the two are not mutually exclusive. This is not a substitute for this. Australian sandalwood is more of a heart note on the spectrum, right? Okay. Mysore sandalwood is a base note. Right, it has a different function in a perfume. Yeah. The heart note can connect the head notes with the base notes. It's like a bridge between the two. So you can actually make a brilliant transition from like a top note, let's say citrus, for example, into the citrusy character of, let's say, a Papuan sandalwood, which smells almost like lemon, and I will show you, right? To the base note of Mysore sandalwood if you're using it. But don't tell me that Mysore sandalwood is superior and you should have used Mysore sandalwood instead of Papuan sandalwood. The two are not mutually exclusive. They fulfill different functions in perfumery. And you just can't compare apples to oranges. Like.
Well, it sort of reminds me of like the notes in music, right? I mean, you can use the same notes in different compositions, and they fulfill different needs in that composition.
Exactly.
So I totally agree with you on that. Now, as a person who's not an expert on this, I mean, I would say that, I mean, I totally agree with that.
Objectively, that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's now shift to the subjective interpretation and take on these notes on the skin.
Okay.
What do you think? Now, what do you think? This is Santalum Austro-Caledonicum, which is New Caledonian sandalwood. This is Pacific Island sandalwood. Comes from New Caledonia. There are many, various islands there, including Vanuatu.
Okay.
What do you make of that smell?
Well, I think it does have that creamy, woody,
you get the cream,
spice, sort of like a spicy, woody spice.
You get like a bright, almost like a milky white.
Yeah, milky white feeling to it.
Cream, sawdust.
Yeah, sawdust. That's what I was just thinking about. Just came to mind right now.
Right.
Which I love that smell, and
It almost has, to me, like the New Caledonian, almost has like a musky top note.
Okay.
There's like this, almost like this. I don't want to say animalic, right? We cannot say animalic.
I don't.
Not quite, right? But it's almost like that punch of a musky, essence from the wood.
Mm. Yeah.
Personally, I mean, I don't know obviously, you wouldn't be able to, and I just personally, what I get from this is I pick up the steel note from the still that this was distilled in. You can smell it if you pay close attention.
That's amazing that you mentioned this, because I was going to ask you about
distillation.
I was going to ask you, do the pots or things that have been previously distilled in these pots, do they have an effect if they're new or if they're old? Because I've heard people say sandalwood sometimes has a rubbery smell to it.
I've never heard of that.
So I was just wondering, someone said that, I was wondering, could that be from the distilling process, from the pots or from whatever?
This was steel distilled.
Yeah.
I can tell that much.
Wow.
And there is that steel note, the astringency of a steel note, which is like almost like that Papua New Guinea agar woody note, which is why I love to distill those Sultan series oils in a steel pot, right? It's because it imparts that, it complements it perfectly.
So it's not, it enhances it then?
It enhances it.
It doesn't?
In the Girinup's agarwood, New Sultan series oils.
Okay.
But in the sandalwood, what it does, you see now there's a sharp contrast. You have this creamy, white, gentle, delicate, angelic aroma.
And then all of a sudden
you have this steel note, which is like jarringly present. And it's like, what's that note doing there?
Yeah. But with that, I still get this like romantic,
creamy,
sweet, creamy,
meditative.
Yeah, meditative. Yeah, definitely.
Zen
smell to it. It's sort of like maybe I'm just ignoring that steely thing that's in there. If it is how strong it is, I can't really smell.
You need to really fine tune your nose with these kind of notes. Like I think most people they cannot pick up that note.
Really?
Like you have to be a distiller or someone who's been like intensively involved in distillation.
Okay.
Overseeing many distillations.
I'm just at the beginning of this journey, so.
But I want you to take note.
Okay.
I want you to take note.
Okay.
If you can pick that up, just make a mental note, because we're going to return to that note in upcoming sessions where we talk about agarwood, where we talk about other things, and the still note is going to come up.
Okay, but is it just that particular note that comes from the distilling, or are there other notes that could come from that?
Well, there are many other. I mean, there's the diametrical opposite of that would be a copper note.
Oh.
Now you're wondering, like, how can a copper pot, right, impart a smell to a botanical that's an aromatic? I mean, how that makes no sense. It boggles the mind, right?
Mm.
Why don't I just give you something to think about? Why don't you hold that for a second?
Okay.
And just, if you can just like rub it.
Rub it?
Yeah, just rub it.
Okay.
Just for a few seconds.
Okay.
I think that's enough.
Okay.
Now, I'll take that back if I may.
Okay.
Why don't you smell your hand? Do you smell anything?
Yes, of course I do.
What does it smell like?
Well, it smells like a not very pleasant smell, to be honest with you.
That's copper.
It smells like, that's copper?
That's copper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I've smelled copper before. It smells sort of like moldy in a way.
I mean, it's a very old. It's a very old incense burner.
So that comes off very easily, then, and even if it's been used again and again.
Now imagine. I mean, you just touched it for literally like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Right. And you can smell the impact on your skin. It left a trace.
Yeah.
Imagine if we actually actively boil something in a copper pot for days and days and days. Of course, it's going to give off that aroma that's going to marry with the botanical, and it's going to have a decisive impact on what it smells like in the end.
But is that the same as a new pot as an old pot? Or
Same.
Oh, really?
Same. I mean, that's an old sensor right there. It's a very old sensor.
Yeah, but you're not boiling anything in that, though.
I mean, you know, it's still.
It stays even with the boiling.
It's
the constant distilling. There's still that influence there.
Yeah. The copper note is unmistakable and inevitable. If you cook, if you distill in a copper pot, you cannot avoid it. Do you have any keys with you?
Yes, I do.
Do you mind if I take a look? So here are some keys. Are any of these made of steel?
I would imagine they are.
Maybe this one. This is steel. Yeah, this one is made of steel. Now let's try this. Let's try rubbing this for a second. Do you smell anything?
Oh yeah. Yep.
There's the smell.
Yeah, there it is.
Unmistakable.
Yeah.
Unmistakable.
Well, I have smelled that before.
Palpable.
Yeah, I have smelled that before.
Yeah.
So thanks for bringing it to my attention.
Imagine if you cook something in that material for weeks, right? It's going to give off that smell and it's going to stay there. Now, what you can do, obviously, this oil, I just got this yesterday. This is just a sample. This oil clearly is a new distillation because you can cure the oil to make that note disappear.
Oh, okay.
That's a whole other ball game. It's a totally different discussion. We want to talk about sandalwood.
Yeah.
And you know, I do tend to. I mean, as things come up, it's like you want to explain everything, and as you go into more and more things,
but then we'll never get anything done if we do that because
you can get sidetracked very easily.
Get sidetracked, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, it's a very complex. It's nature, and at one level, it's very pure. But on another level, because of the processes that it goes through, I'm sure that if we stopped at every part of the process, there would be an influence somewhere.
Yeah. So we should just get back to our topic.
Get back to this because I didn't even smell the steel. I wish you would have. You wouldn't have told me about that. Okay. It's very heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
what do you think of that?
It's.
I mean, you brought up nature, so I wanted to give you something very natural.
Yeah, thank you. It looks very. It definitely looks natural.
Yeah.
It looks kind of scary in a way.
I think it looks beautiful.
Yeah. Well, it reminds me of a horror movie I saw one time.
A horror movie?
Yeah, a tree that was in there that actually came to life.
Oh.
So this is nature.
Right.
A part of nature coming to life in my very hands.
That's actually a legendary piece of wood. I mean, that's Osiris Lancelota, which is the Tanzanian sandalwood variety.
Well, that's why it looks so wild.
Yeah, African sandal. It's like now almost gone. It's like you can't find it anymore.
And it's heavy, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's heavy. Looks like this. Now, this is the actual outside of the tree, or is this the inside?
This is the actual inside of the trunk.
Inside of the trunk.
The actual trunk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, it's nice. Looks.
What does it smell like?
Well.
You can't detect anything.
No, I can't detect anything. There's a slight scent to it.
I mean, after what we've been burning, and like we have this Mysore wafting, like from the sensor, it's going to be very difficult to smell this, like at room temperature.
Yeah.
However, it has a faint smell of musk. You can get it here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's very obvious. Yeah.
Because that is freshly cut.
That's very obvious now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now, if we were to take that and just like
Cut it in
half, run a chainsaw or like a knife through it, it'd smell like that.
Yeah, that's very distinct. Yeah.
So this is the cross section. It's very, very deep red and burgundy colored. This is Osiris, is Tanzanian sandalwood. And I will show you what that oil smells like neat.
The musky smells very...
To me, you know what it smells like? It smells like jasmine sambac. This Indian variety of jasmine that has that almost like this flowery, like a red flower in bloom. Very sumptuous, very elegant.
Well, I've never smelled that. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like... should I give you a swipe? Would you like a swipe?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
Let's see how it reacts with my skin.
With your skin, yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole different story. Yeah, I can smell it much. It does have a more flowery smell to it on my skin.
This is the core component behind my top sandalwood that we've ever released. It's now discontinued because I pulled the plug on it. It was just too precious to let go at any price. I mean, you couldn't price it. Right? It was called Santal Sultan. Santal Sultan, almost like the Sultan series of sandalwood, kind of thing. Now, how would you compare that to the Austro-Caledonian, the New Caledonian?
What? It doesn't have that sort of like a spicy, sort of like creamy, milky thing to it. No.
Right. It's like a flower, isn't it?
Yeah.
Almost like a jasmine flower in bloom.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's to me that's insane.
Yeah.
It's like how do you get that from wood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Well, even the musky distinction to that. It's the first time I've ever smelt that from wood. Actually.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I have other ones that smell like proper deer musk, and it'll boggle the mind when you smell them. Like, how do you get that from a tree? I mean, it's like
well, nature, right? Nature is capable of doing many things.
I don't think I'd be able to open this bottle. There you go.
With determination.
So now this is Santal Sultan Privé. This is the unreleased. This hasn't been released. This is my private batch that I have.
And this is pure sandalwood?
100%. 100%. This is a fusion of...
Reddish.
Yes, you can see the color. It's like...
orange, reddish.
Yeah. You can see that.
Yeah.
Santal Sultan Privé.
Yeah. It's got that nice flowering.
But the flowery is now grounded in a bed of cream.
Yeah.
It's like you're like in a butter factory.
Yeah.
And jasmines are in bloom.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. That's so.
I just didn't see how this could be parted from. You can't part from it. It's like it's a legend in the world of aromatics. And Santal Sultan, everybody knows about it. But I said now it's like getting where I'm going to be. There's no way I can go back to 1999 and get more Osiris from Tanzania, right? So it's like no way. Like I'll just keep it.
Yeah.
Then we have Papuan sandalwood.
All right.
From Papua New Guinea. If you recall, that is where our most fabled Sultan series oils hail from. Like Sultan Mustafa, Sultan Bayazid. To me, it smells like Granny Smith apples.
Really?
I get a very distinct apple note from it. And there's like this thin note that reminds me of castoreum, which is one of the animalic ingredients. It comes from the beaver. It's a pod that is from inside the belly of the beaver, and it has a note that is reminiscent of this.
Oh. I was going to say that there was sort of like an animatic, but not from, like there was part of that in there, but not like very strong.
Not like full out,
not like an ode or something like that.
Yeah.
No.
And this is what the wood looks like. This is Papuan sandalwood. You can take a look at that. Very sturdy,
solid wood.
Yeah, it's not like agar wood where you have a diseased tree trying to fend off infection or trauma or disease or injury, and it creates this resin that then tries to patch up the.
This is a healthy tree.
This is a sturdy tree. This
is the way it is.
Yeah, and it just contains this oil.
It's amazing.
It's a very different thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I can. It's so strong. I can't even. I don't think I can break any of this off. I should have brought a pair of pliers with me.
Yeah.
So I don't think we'll be able to break any of this. Yeah. But I have the next best thing, which is actually, to me, is actually superior. It's not the next best. It's actually, I place it above Papuan, myself, which is the Tongan sandalwood. Tongan sandalwood. This is now going back to the Pacific Islands. However, this is not New Caledonia. This is the island of Tonga.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Doesn't even smell like wood.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. You can actually see the solid pieces here. We have these, actually we sell these on the website.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And to burn, you mean?
Yeah. You can. I mean, if people carve, you can carve things from it. You can burn. We'll burn some right now if you want to try.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Does it smell? Oh, you burn that? You burn the powder?
Yeah, I mean, you'll try it directly. You'll see what it smells like.
Okay. This is very beautiful.
Oh yeah,
wood also.
A very nice wood.
Yeah. It's very beautiful.
That's the scent of Zen right there. It's like the scent of meditation, heart and soul. It's like sandalwood is like the smell of